Kathryn Bernardo has had to deal with the impossible pressure of being the proverbial good girl growing up in the spotlight. She was the teen queen, so of course, you couldn't be anything less than perfect. But 2 decades since she started her acting career, she has now learned to live her most authentic self and break free from the society's expectations of her. The cover was really more than just a beautiful photograph. More than anything, it was about telling a story. So after 20 years of being in the industry, Kathryn has achieved so many things. She has nothing left to prove. She's cool and she knows it. She didn't need to try. So in the twofold cover, it's actually quite a paradox. There's one image of her that's just standing still. It's raw, it's effortless. And then in another image, she's screaming her lungs out. Look at the picture as a whole. It looks as if she's screaming at herself. So in the cover image, Kath wore this red heart bra by Randolf, who's one of previous Best Filipino Fashion Designers awardees for this year. It was paired with this trousers from Alexander Wang in the aquarium layout, which is also one of our favorites. We also feature this other talented Filipino designer, Antonina, and there were some pieces from Fendi and Jimmy Choo. In our original shoot deck, the beauty direction was actually quite different. The hair in particular was meant to be some sort of a pixie cut. John Valle, our hairstylist, always so amazing to work with. He tweaked it a bit so that it frames Kath's face shape better. Did some sort of a mullet on her. It looked stunning on Kath. And then we also have her makeup artist, Owen Sarmiento, who did wonders to achieve that dewy, natural, raw glam on Kath.
During the day, it was very nice seeing how Balara Studio became the playground for Kathryn, where there were sets built, there was an aquarium, and with Paul Hatayna's team, they were able to transform Balara Content House into this super mod, super cool backdrop for Kathryn. We've worked with Kathryn multiple times already, so she's also appeared in so much glossies and covers and also in movies, so she has really been transformed in multiple ways. But for this shoot, we really wanted to make it special by stripping it down and just letting her cool girl shine.
Our November cover is inspired by Gen X Soft Club. I'm sure you've seen it on Pinterest or Instagram. It's an aesthetic that emerged during the late 90s and early 2000s that embraced minimalism as opposed to the pop bubblegum trends at that time. It's also influenced by tech and natural elements. When you search for Soft Club editorials, they mostly have blue hues and the soft filter, and the poses are very relaxed as if the models aren't posing. So it's just naturally cool and nonchalant, so it's perfect for Kathryn Bernardo. During planning phase, we already decided on the final cover treatment. We wanted Kathryn to wear the Randolf Red Heart Bra and we wanted it to be super minimal. And then since it's minimal already, we wanted it to be a carousel cover. It's the digital counterpart of the two-fold print cover.
So it was my very first time meeting and working with Kathryn in this shoot, and within the first 5 minutes of meeting her, I immediately understood why she's been in the industry for more than a decade now, despite being only in her 20s. Throughout the whole shoot, she didn't complain at all. There was even a layout in the shoot where we had to photograph her in a glass aquarium, and she didn't have any complaints. She was super game for it, even though the water was really cold and we had to photograph it in an air-conditioned studio. For the styling of the shoot, we wanted it to be inspired by the Gen X Soft Club aesthetic.
So for the fashion film, we had to connect it with the overall story that she was breaking free from society's impossible expectations and standards of her being a quote-unquote good girl. Even the moving cover that you could see on the billboards has the same concept behind it. So during the shoot, our direction for Kath was to just be herself. That was it. Everything that you saw in the film, like Kath eating pizza, dancing around, that was her energy on the set, so it wasn't scripted at all. We also used sound bites from her actual interview for the cover story. It wasn't scripted at all. She wasn't trying to portray an image. Whatever you saw on the film and on the images, she was just being her authentic self.